The adductor magnus muscle, which is highlighted in blue on the screen, is a large triangular muscle located at the medial or inner thigh. It is the largest of the adductor groups, and it separates into two parts, the hamstring and the abductor, which will be shown later on in the video. The image that was just on the screen was an anterior view of the muscle, whereas this is a posterior view, and if you don't know what that means, anterior is a front view, posterior is a view from the back. So this is just where the muscle would be if you were looking at it from behind. This is a more close-up side or lateral view of the muscle. I did only highlight part of it just to kind of showcase the triangular shape that the muscle has. And this right here is just another close-up picture of the muscle, so you can kind of see how big the muscle is in actuality, because those models that were previously shown are very small, and this one is more life-size, so this is just about how big the muscle actually is. Okay, so now that we covered size, shape, and location, let's talk a little bit about what it does. So the adductor magnus functions as a dynamic stabilizer of the pelvis and femur, and it's the prime mover of the femur for adduction, which means bringing it back toward the midline of your body. So if you kick your leg out and then you bring it back to your body, that's adduction. And then it also medially rotates the thigh at the hip joint. So as I said before, this muscle separates into two parts, the adductor part and the hamstring part, which is shown here in this image. That top part right there is the adductor part, which flexes, adducts, and externally rotates the hip joint. And then the bottom part, the hamstring, extends and adducts the hip joint. So the adductor works more as a flexor part, and then the hamstring fibers are the ones that are responsible for extension. Okay, now we're getting into origin and insertion points. So that big red dot up there kind of on the pubis of that skeleton is the origin point, and that stretches all the way from the pubic ramus, the inferior pubic ramus, to the ischial ramus and to the ischial tuberosity. And then the two blue dots down towards the bottom that you see are the insertion points, and it inserts into the linea aspera and the adductor tubercle on the femur. And this is just another image to kind of help you visualize where the origin and insertion points are and how it might look on an actual person rather than just the model that I showed with no muscle on it. And this is just examples of how you can kind of work that adductor magnus muscle. Like right here, you see the adduction kind of bringing that leg back to the midline. This right here is the flexion, kind of flexing it as you kick that leg forward, and then kind of bringing the leg back is an example of the extension.